Hi, this is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California, here to talk to you today about how to pikey jump into a handstand in your sun salutations and also how to do sort of a vertical jump from the front of your mat. So we're going to work through two jumps that you could use in your sun salutations, starting with. So once you're in, say, your uttanasana, you did your forward fold, you come halfway up. So to start to figure out how to get to a handstand from the front of your mat, which is a super vertical jump, you want your hands very flat and you want them to be turned out ever so slightly. Okay? I like to have my feet about a foot behind my hands. My gaze is forward and you want to sort of plant your arms into the shoulder joint. So instead of being really, really high, you want to sort of and drop down just a little bit into this. This is going to really stabilize my arms and stabilize my arms into the shoulder joints. I come high onto my tippy toes. And to start, we're not going to do a full handstand. We're going to just practice some floaty verticals. So I look forward. I'm going to look about 6 inches in front of my hands. And when I jump, I'm going to sort of compact my body. So I'm going to jump and come back down. That's it. I'm going to do some of these jumps. The compacting of the body makes it easier to balance because the more compact your body, the less it's all over the place, the fewer variables you have, the more stable. So think of this almost like a crow without your legs on your arms. So it's just going to be like a little boop, float in the air and come back down. My gaze is forward, my knees bent. I'm just going to take a little hop and down. That's it. You ready? Hop and down. So that I'm really not only compacting, but I'm really engaging my core like crazy. Now to move on from there into an actual handstand, there's going to have to be a little pivot of the hips. So it's always hips over shoulders over wrists in your handstand. The hips are the most important part. Then I can start to lift my legs. So I look forward, I bend my knees, I take my little hop, hop, and pivot. Then my legs come up. From there, I can move into my chaturanga. I start to bend my elbows. Grr. I always land in chaturanga, not in a plank position. That's super important. So you want to make sure that you bend your elbows before you land. And I have sort of like this back bending action going on as I drop. What that back bend does is it counterbalances the action so that I don't just slam into the floor because you're going to break your toes that way. But instead, having some of the action going that way, as my body is going this way, helps to temper the fall. Now, once you're in your down dog, you got to get back to the front of your mat, salutation A, right? So we're going to work on jumping forward. Hopefully you've already seen my previous video, which is about the basics of jumping forward. That's jumping with bent knees with a compact body. Today we're going to be talking about jumping through a pike with a long body, straight legs. Now let's just put this in perspective. This has taken me years to master. Hopefully it won't take you quite as long, but don't get frustrated with this process. We're going to start off with just some pikey jumps, okay? So my hands again are down on the floor. I'm starting from my down dog, so I just got to my dog. Again, I like to turn my hands out ever so slightly and plug my shoulders in. Feet slide together. This is going to make it easier. Now what you want to do is look, again, about a foot in front of your hands. But when you jump, what I want you to think about is inserting your thighs into your hip bone. So instead of just having them just sort of like hanging out there, pull your heels like you can pull them right into your thighs. We're just going to pike up and land back in dog. So I'm going to pike and land. So I'm just pushing back. Remember, I always land with bent knees so that I don't cause trauma on my low back. I bend my knees, look forward. Here I go. Jump and back. Okay, so I'm moving into what's going to start to approximate an L shape. Again, the most important part is always hips, not the heels. The heels could come later, but hips over shoulders over wrists. Now, when I jump up, I want to squeeze my knees together and squeeze my ankles together. That's going to help, among other things, to engage the mula bar mat and give you support as you lift. So I've got my down dog. My feet are together, my gaze is forward, I bend my knees, I take my hops, and I lift. It's a little hard to talk here. And to come back down, because now I'm landing at the front of my mat, my tush goes back. Whoops. And I land at the front of my mat. And I'm ready for another salutation. Except for one thing. I sort of hurt my hand really badly the other day, and I have a bad foot, so I'm not going to do it again. But you can do it again. This is a great way to just spice up your sun salutations, practicing vertical jump, vertical jump, vertical jump. Remember that vertical jump at the beginning is not from dog, it's from uttanasana. So you're going boop instead of boop, okay? First jump, boop, second jump, boop, because from your down dog, now we're coming at our vertical. Do you see the difference? If you have questions, you could always write them and I'll respond, or you could always email me or do whatever you want. Contact me, I'm always available. I hope that this helps to at least start you get into your pikey jumps. Definitely check out my previous video, which is jumping into handstand basics, which will give you sort of the warm-up that leads up to this one. I hope that helps you. This is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California. Hoping you have a great weekend.